we should form our own command structure of those who don't have guns and have communication amongst ourselves. And once our people, which we called Power 10, unfortunately there was very little time, and subsequently a lot of confusion came. It was not pursued. But that same idea of organizing small groups of 10, so the commander of the group becomes the 11th. If you are listening to me, even tomorrow, look for people who want to change their country and organize them into a group that you will stay with until we are free. That you check on each other every day. It is your team. And inform all others to form their teams, unarmed. We are going to build our own command structure of those who don't have guns. If we are able to achieve that, we can in no time disempower those who are commanding guns. Because those who are commanding guns cannot command them without our support and help. Has changed. They will know that they cannot survive without, because if we withhold our food, whom will they tear gas? Whom will they shoot so that they get food? So it's very easy for the population, if it is organized, if it is mobilized, to regain control over the country. And doing what I am saying is allowed by our constitution. It's not like those, like what Kony was doing here. Because Kony, if you take up guns to fight the government, you are violating the law. In fact, you are committing treason. But if we organize to withdraw our cooperation with the government, it is completely legal. And even the activities of doing it are completely constitutional and legal, provided by Article 3 of our Constitution. So, we are beginning a process of organizing the command of the unarmed in Uganda to regain control over their country. We shall be providing details through our networks. People will be, our leaders will also be exposed more on what they have to do through our networks. Because just like the army builds its force, trains its commanders and its fighters, we shall organize and train our leaders and have good communication. The army has army radios. We shall have our own radio system to communicate. Okay. And I can assure you, Emmanuel, and all our listeners, that, and it's already, I'm already encouraged where we started, in the area, in the regions where we started. We haven't yet rolled out to say the details of how but people are already very active, creating these teams, and they are putting pressure on how to make them most effective. Okay. So if we act with seriousness, and this is especially for young people, because it is young people that must save themselves and regain the country. For me, as Besigye, I am now 68 years. The Bible says our years are 70. And if we become strong, we become 80. So I'm not fighting for myself. I'm fighting so that the young people of this country can live better lives than we have lived. But they must fight for themselves. They must, all young people must be active. If we are to win this war that we are going to fight, we must overcome 4 things, and those are the things that I will end on this, and you can go to your. We must win 4 tools that are facing us. The first one is fear. Because those who control the country and control us by creating fear in our minds. That if you do this, they are going to kill you. They are going to imprison you. They are going to torture you. They are going to take away the little that you have. People are paralyzed by fear. We must overcome fear with faith. Faith defeats fear. That's why, and you know, here in Acholi, we have saints. People who have achieved sainthood here in Acholi. Yes, because of faith. Yes, because of faith. Now people come from all over the world to recognize their courage and faith. So we need faith in ourselves and in our country to say that, you know, we together can take back our country. And that those who are threatening us, if we resist, they will do nothing to us. And there is power in, this is why we need each other. If you are threatened, call on your colleagues, be together, the 10 of you. If you are alone, it's easy to threaten you. But let's know that we can overcome. There is no way they can imprison 1 million people if we are organized. There is no way they can. So they are just, intimidation is like the scarecrows you see in the gardens. If you are not firm, you meet a scarecrow, you think it is a big monster waiting to catch you, when it is just some grass that has been constructed. So we must overcome fear. Secondly, we must overcome the money they are using to bribe us, especially the leaders. Because when we start organizing, they look for leaders and say, you don't worry, don't continue with what you are doing. We are going to solve your own problems. They take you to solve your own problems and you betray all the others. We must know that to reach the good land we want to be, we must pass through sacrifice. Even Mr. Museveni, who has now controlled our country for nearly 40 years, before that, he suffered. Stayed years in the bush, without food, without clothes, without what? He had to pass through difficulties to get what he wanted. We as Ugandans must be prepared to pass through sacrifice in order to get what we want. And I was very, very happy with our leaders in Acholi, because they came very early in the morning. We had a meeting. We had a public engagement later on in the evening during rain. They didn't have lunch. We didn't pay them to move. They didn't, you know, they are determined to sacrifice, to suffer for what they want to get. So that is the second thing. We must overcome money. Thirdly, we must overcome propaganda of the state. Because they have money, they use their money and their control of the media to spread propaganda, which we have very little capacity ourselves to respond to. I wanted to be on a number of radio stations in the region, because every radio station has its audience. But I couldn't, because on most radio stations, they charge exorbitantly. And we don't have that money. Yet those radios are either government, they are either controlled directly by the government or by people who are working with the government. So for them, they have easy and direct access to them, whereas we don't. And they use that to cause a lot of confusion with misinformation. Some time back, they started, campaign that Besigye works with Museveni. they secretly work together. And they kept on repeating it until some people started believing it. I asked, but if I did, supposing that it was right I am working with Museveni, have you thought about what it is that I have not done because of working with him, which I would have otherwise done? Or what I have done that I should not have done? Because that's what would tell you whether whatever I'm doing is genuine, if there are certain things I should do that I haven't done, which somebody else can do also. But propaganda, we must defeat it. Lastly, we must defeat the plan of those who captured our country to divide their captives and cause conflict amongst themselves. Divide and rule. Which is what we are dealing with in the parties. You'll find it in the churches. You'll find it in the business community. You'll find it wherever people gather. They try to divide them and cause conflict. We must overcome those four things. And if we do, we shall regain control over our country. I'm confident this is going to happen and will happen soon if all of us are serious and do what we need to do.
All right, thank you.